Well, did this go by? Am I coming up here and just cobbling together a bunch of loose facts and making a really neat little story that's going to get people excited?
No.
Well, let's go back in time and see what the people of Ohio said. This is the 1867. This is out of the Annual Encyclopedia of Important Events at the Democratic State Convention in Columbus on January 6, 1867. He says this, that the Reconstruction Acts and what all they did, which reduced them to territories, reducing North Carolina to a territory, are unconstitutional, revolutionary, and despotic measures destructive to the rights of those states and also to every other state in the Union, and part of a plan to nullify the Constitution, virtually overthrow state governments, and erect despotisms on their ruins, and establish a tyrannical minority, Congress, over a majority of the American people. Now, were they mincing words?
No.
Now, do we see the effects of this today?
Yes.
It's not just that Congress slowly meandered and got out of the way, and then we just got to get them back in. They hijacked our country. What do you call it when you have governments in place, recognized governments in place, and they're taken out and removed, and a new government put in place by military force? What do you call that? A coup.
Subjugation.
How many of you are taught in times of peace? How many of you are taught a coup took place to take over the government you're operating in today? They don't teach it.
They don't teach anything about government.
And there are people that don't want you to know this. There are people who are boycotting this meeting right here so that it'll intimidate people from coming and learning this stuff. This is one of the problems in America when this movement starts censoring itself. Right. Saying, I won't come and speak if John Ainsworth speaks there. I mean, that's what happened. 2 speakers walked out. If John Ainsworth speaks and gives this stuff, I'm not going to be there. And I think you need to contact those people and let them know what you think about it.
Who are they?
Frank Roach.
Yeah, names and phone numbers. Where are they?
I'll let you talk to other people about that. I don't have time for it. Maine said the same thing. I could do this. I don't have time to read these. Maine did the same thing. Connecticut did the same thing. All these resolutions. New Hampshire, this is 1867. Massachusetts. Don't have the time to read all these things. And so what we want to do, oops, I thought I got rid of all those. What this is doing is just showing these are all the cancer. I need to zip through these guys real quick. I know, it won't go fast. Sorry about that. I changed my slides. We just actually built this slideshow like 15 minutes before this thing started, and these were supposed to be removed because we went over them at the beginning instead of here at the end. So I apologize for that.
Please don't.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, the Reconstruction Acts being our nemesis, being the root of the problem. You've heard the saying, you know, you have thousands hacking at the branches. Well, what we need to be doing is hacking at the root. Let's quit having 30 groups of people out there fighting. Well, one group's fighting this and one group's fighting that, and I really don't like that one and I don't like that one. We got to come together. Now, am I saying don't stop fighting what's going on out there? No, keep on doing that. But what we've got to do is get a parallel track. Keep fighting them, but learn what the real deal is, because I may just cut this thing short. What we want to do is write our government back. And if we can get rid of that one little spot right there, if we can get rid of that, look at what happens to our government.
Oh, wow.
Look at it. Isn't that a simpler, smaller federal government?
Cleans up the process.
And all we got to do is hack that one root off.
Amen. Sooner.
The problem, we have an unrealized overthrow of the constitutions of the United States and of the several states. The Reconstruction legislation was opposed to congressional resolutions concerning the objects of the war. It was not the logical nor lawful conclusion to the war. We have been operating under a permanent state of emergency since at least the Civil War, and we have a suspension of constitutionally guaranteed freedoms and procedures. The 14th Amendment, it's analogous to a cancer that is spreading rampant in our country and drives bigger government. It's the only congressionally coerced amendment to the Constitution. Does coercion create a legal obligation in law?
No.
Excuse me, in the United States it does. I mean, don't you know? That's what we're operating under. Coercion. A government put into place by fraud, coercion, and force can only be maintained by fraud, coercion, and force. Truth is our weapon.
Right.
This is our weapon. Are they teaching us the truth so that we can get a remedy? No, they're not. Whose duty is it to get the truth?
Ours.
It's ours. And what we need to do is we have to spread this message. And this is what I'm taking into courts. I am fighting Reconstruction.
Good. Good deal.
Thank you. The solution is recognize clear unconstitutional acts as void and non-binding. Is that hard?
No.
Is that a radical concept?
Easy enough for me.
That's obeying the law. My solution is everyone needs to obey the law.
Everyone.
I'm not a secessionist. I'm not a revolutionary. Everyone needs to obey the law. Simple. Obey the law. Recognize the American Union as being comprised of state citizens, subject to local self-government, and not federal citizens or national citizens, subject to absolute control by the federal government. Begging the government to give us some right, some form of a right back again. And that's where we're at. We're underneath begging. We need to be asserting.
That's right.
Amen.
We need to assert our rights.
I want my smoking right back.
You gonna smoke rabbit tobacco?
Well, I don't have time to keep getting all that, and we've got to recognize lawful and provable constitutional government as binding. For example, the state of North Carolina established December 18th, 1776.
Amen.
Not the government of North Carolina established June 25th, 1868. Two states have entered the American Union called North Carolina.
Two of them.
One, I say, I can't find anything in its pedigree that shows it's lawfully put into place. It violates the principles of self-government, it violates the Constitution, it violates every principle. But I do know that the Constitution of North Carolina of December 1776 was lawful and constitutional, lawfully binding. I recognize that government, that Constitution as being the law of North Carolina. Whoops. Pushing the laser doesn't make the slide move. What you think about that?
Amen.
Return to lawful government. Change we can believe in. I got two Obama slogans in this thing.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Where's the hope?
The hope is in
Who's
you.
the hope?
No, we're the hope.
We're the hope.
We can't put the hope in government. We can't put the hope in legislature. Has the legislature proved that it can give us remedy?
No.
But don't we keep on going back to them? Aren't we addicted to them? We got to go to you to give us a little hope. Won't you? And we're begging, please. We'll give you money if you'll do so. Well, we can't do it. Am I done? Oh,
No,
I thought you were coming to.
No.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm done. That's the last slide.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Let me have it for a second.
Thank you.
John has agreed to stay and answer questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Unfortunately, John has so much more information he couldn't present. And I'm serious. I mean, he has stories that you should hear.
Tomorrow night?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm saying we may have another town hall, and maybe that one won't be boycotted.
Would you people bring a friend or two to listen to this again and more information?
Yeah.
If we can do that and fill this room up, that's what we got to do.
Well, before we have questions answered, John's going to give you as much time as you want,
Well, I want to thank you for that.
and we appreciate John's time. What you don't know is there was a big controversy, as John alluded to, and it was basically you will not have John Ainsworth speak, or we will not speak. And those two people are William Gein of Valley Back and Frank Roach, who's running for office against David Price. Against George Hutchins. Now,
Who can we get to run against Price? That we think can win, for God's sake, we need to get rid of him. He's like a bad case of life.
Well, that's another town.
that's another question.
Kitchen
and-
table meetings. It was a good.
Yeah, what we're going to do, because we do want to give John as much time as we can,